So now that April is over, let us take a look at how the portfolio actually performed during this massive volatile month. A month filled with tariffs, a month filled with pauses of those tariffs, a month filled with China trade wars. It was absolutely bonkers. So absolutely, let's take a look at how the portfolio actually performed, as well as the dividends that came out of it. In addition, let's actually take a look at another person's portfolio that actually haven't taken a look at in quite some time. However, because markets fell, I took advantage to buy a decent amount of stuff in her portfolio, and it actually ended up being really good because one of her goals is actually met. So before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Really does help her with the algorithm on YouTube as well as Rumble. Make sure to follow us on X at Fatal Investing, and of course, if you'd like to join us on Discord, which is the best place to catch the live streams, the shorts, and the videos, the link to that is in the description below, as well as the calculators that I use for my discounted free cash flow videos. And with that said, let's get started with this video. All right, guys, so here is my portfolio, and for the month of April, from April 1st to April 30th, excluding net contributions, the portfolio lost $5,620. That's a decent amount. That is a really big decent amount. And as you guys can see over here, when it comes to the rate of return, the blue being my portfolio is actually down in comparison to that of the Nasdaq as well as the S&P 500. You guys can see right there, my portfolio lost around 2.75% on the month, or at least ending the month. The S&P lost 0.68, the Nasdaq gained 0.88, and the Dow lost 3.08. So right now, my portfolio is only beating the Dow Jones only by a little bit for the month of April. So now let us take a look at the buys and the sells. There were a lot of buys, guys. I was busy. Like when I say I buy when the market's low or when the market's crashing, I mean it. So we got over here on the 3rd, I did around, 4 different buys. Number 1 was JetQ, bought 20 shares for $49.85, worth a total of $997.10. Then Charles Schwab, 20 shares for $540 basically. Then Broadcom bought 4 shares for $639.56. And lastly, got some more JetQ, 35 shares for $1,741. Then on the 4th, I did a few more buys. Actually, I did a lot of buys on the 4th. Bought some more SCHD, 38 shares for $980. Then bought some Microsoft, which, by the way, you guys see Microsoft? Yeah, I bought it at $367 for 1 share, and it is currently above $420 if I'm not mistaken. Haha. Then we got Chevron, about 5 shares at $143.86 for $719.30. Then also on the 4th, bought some more SCHD, 7 shares for $177.24. Then I bought my first position on American Express, 4 shares for $936.96. Then Broadcom, 5 shares for $739.75. Then on the 7th, I bought some more SCHD, 7 shares for $174.23. Then on the 9th, I bought some more SCHD, 20 shares for $482 basically. On the 10th, I bought 23 shares of SCHD for $566.61. Then on the 11th, I bought 10 shares of SCHD, $247.05. On the 21st, I bought 4 shares of SCHD for $99.18. And lastly, on the 22nd, I decided to buy 10 shares of NVIDIA for $986.05 for an average price of $98.61. This all totaled $10,393.64. And now taking a look at the dividends, this is absolutely massive because we actually have reached a pretty big milestone when it comes to the dividends. Not on the 2025 category, but in the next 12 months. We'll take a look at that later. But for 2025, it is estimated at around $7,065.69 for a monthly average of $588.81. As of April, as you guys can see, the portfolio got around $328.24 with 10 cents of interest due to the money that I had in Charles Schwab. But this is actually really interesting when you compare this to the previous Aprils, because this is actually the highest one that we have ever gotten in April. We can see here that the only prior one that was upwards of this much was April of 2022 at $212.63, whereas right now it did $328.14. And here is how the dividend itemization actually turned out for April. On April 1st, we got Coca-Cola $4.59, Nike $40 on the dot. Then on the 3rd, we got a non-qualified dividend from Vici Properties at $104.23, as well as JetQ paying $24.33. Then on the 7th, we got a Merck qualified dividend of $42.12. Then on the 15th, Realty Income paying $85.93. On the 17th, we got Rio Tinto paying $11.25. And lastly, on the 30th, we got JP Morgan paying $8.40. But now if we actually take a look at the next 12 months, this is where things get a little bit interesting. After all those buys I did, guys, we can see that now the estimated income, it is $7,282, which is a big milestone of $600 in average monthly income. Really, really nice. And honestly, when it comes to June, September, December, and March, these are the ones I'm looking forward to the most, because as you guys can see right there, we can see that it is upwards of $1,103.34. Absolutely gorgeous when it comes to that. And that is a big milestone. We are just $400 away from having $1,000 every single month coming in on average, which is about an estimated income of $12,000 annually. So as you guys can see, even though it was very volatile for the month of April, I capitalized on it. And yes, my portfolio is down on the month, but the dividends are up, and that is really something that's kind of my focus, right? Passive income through dividends. Now with that, before we actually end the video, I would like to show everybody somebody else's portfolio that I actually haven't shown on the channel for quite some time now. And that is none other than my wife's stock portfolio, more specifically my wife's dividend portfolio, because I started this at around 2 years ago or something like that, maybe even 3 years ago now. And well, kind of stopped putting money into it because obviously we had the things with a baby being born and all that other stuff. But I decided, you know what, markets are down, I'm going to give her the money so that way she can actually capitalize on markets being low, getting that nice yield. And well, I did a lot, guys, to the point that now she is making over $12 on monthly income. And the majority of the stocks that I did buy were, of course, SCHD. And we can see this right here. On the 25th, I did 3 buys. The first buy being SCHD for 20 shares, $511.19. Then bought 3 shares of Chevron, $414.48. And lastly, on the 25th, bought 2 shares of SCHD for $50.95. Then on the 28th, I bought 1 share of SCHD for $25.71. And lastly, on the 30th, I bought 59 shares for SCHD at $1,510.70. Total cost of $2,513.03. And all of this resulted in a monthly average, as y'all just saw, of $12.17 in the next 12 months, and in 2025 $9.76. But we're not really looking at this because obviously, for the month of March, this already passed and she only got $6.74. However, we can see that for the month of June, this just went up to $35.04. And for all of those of you who didn't see those past videos of my wife's dividend portfolio, the goal for this is for her portfolio to cover the subscription services, the streaming subscription services that she likes to watch. Normally, she likes to watch Paramount, Discovery, Netflix, Disney Plus, and she recently just started doing Crunchyroll as well. But the good thing is that with this $12 and change, this actually covers one of the subscription services. Now, the way that she does it is that whenever she wants to switch from, let's say, for example, Netflix to Disney Plus, she would cancel Netflix and open up a Disney Plus account. Well, seeing that the dividends are coming in higher than the cost of the highest of these streaming services, basically it is covered, the highest one being Disney Plus at $10.60. Now, ideally, I would eventually like it so that she wouldn't have to cancel it and that she would just have it permanently. However, this is going to take quite some time, not to mention that there's also this one other thing over here, which is something that she does, that she donates money to a child in need, and this costs around $38 per month. All in all, though, the annual cost for all of this will be $939.24, which is a monthly cost of $78.27, which means that we would need to get this monthly average to around $80 to be on the safe side. And if we actually just do the math really quickly, let's just say $80, multiply this by 12, because it is per year, and then we divide this by, let's say that we actually managed to snipe a 4% yield, we would need around $24,000 in order to get this $80 per monthly income, which is quite a few ways away. However, take the small victories as they come. And with that, guys, that pretty much does it for this video. April is usually not the best month. May, neither will be a pretty good month. June, however, that one's going to be absolutely bonkers. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really does help with the algorithm on YouTube as well as Rumble. Make sure to follow us on X at Fatal Investing. And of course, if you'd like to join us on Discord, which is the best place to catch the live streams, the shorts, and the videos, the link to this is in the description below. Also on the Discord, you also have the discounted free castle calculator, which is also available in the description below as well. So if you would like to see that June's passive income, which is going to be the biggest one yet, make sure to, of course, like, subscribe, and follow. And of course, share the channel, guys. It really does help. And with that said, peace out, and we will see you all next time.